So, Han Solo, a Star Wars movie, has come out this weekend to less than expected projections. Originally, they were thinking it was going to hit just shy of the 200 million mark. Then they lowered it to the 150, and now it's looking to make maybe 100 million. Now, personally, when I purchased my tickets, the theater was empty. Not a single ticket had been sold. When I finally purchased my tickets, only two other people had purchased their tickets. When I actually went to the theater, there were only 10 people in the theater. Now, I've been going to the midnight showings of Star Wars for the past 20 years, ever since episode 1. And this is the first time I've ever been in a theater for a Star Wars movie that wasn't completely packed. In fact, for episode 8, I had a hard time buying tickets for that night because all the tickets in all the theaters in my area were sold out. So I think the people have spoken and have started to rebel against Star Wars. My problem is that I actually liked the Solo movie. I did not particularly care for Episode 7 simply because it was a rehash of A New Hope. And then Episode 8, I absolutely hate because I found the entire plot stupid. You can see those reviews in my channel. I'm not going to go into those. But I actually like Solo. I thought Solo was a turn in the right direction. It was engraced in the Star Wars universe. It wasn't perfect, and it was even kind of campy-ish and kind of community theater-esque, but at its heart it was a Star Wars movie, and I enjoyed it immensely. And even my wife, after she saw it, looked right at me and she goes, this was one of her favorite Star Wars movies ever. And she's not a really big Star Wars fan. Anyway, my fear is now that the movie is not going to do well, the folks at Disney are going to look at this movie and say, okay, episode 7 did well and episode 8 did kind of well. We need to continue to make movies like those instead of movies like Solo. And right there, I think is gonna be a step in the wrong direction. I think the reason why Solo is failing is not because of the movie itself. It's because of numerous reasons. One, since episode 7 came out in 2015, and a little bit over, I mean, in less than 3 years, we've had 4 movies. Okay, so 2015, December 2015, we had episode 7. In December 2016, we had Rogue One. And December 2017, we had episode 8. Okay, and then so that's actually 3.5 years, and now in 5 months we had Solo, a Star Wars movie. It didn't have to be Solo. It could have been Kenobi. It could have been Fett. It could have been Salacious Crumb. Okay, it didn't matter what was going to be put here because folks are kind of getting tired of Star Wars. I think the term right now is called Star Wars fatigue. This was something I predicted when Disney announced that they were going to churn out movies every year back in 2012. Um, I didn't have a YouTube channel at the time, but at my work and all my friends, I said this is going to be a problem simply because we've been dealing with having a Star Wars movie every few years, and that's enough for our hunger for Star Wars to come back and for us to actually want to see another Star Wars. This in 2015 was our first Star Wars in 10 years, so they could have thrown out Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, or BB-8 making a grilled cheese sandwich. It was going to make $2 billion. It didn't matter because it was a new Star Wars in 10 years. But if you start throwing something out every year, then it could be the best Star Wars movie ever made. By the time the fourth or fifth movie comes out, people are going to it's like, oh, it's another Star Wars. When Rogue One was released, a lot of people did not understand that this was not part of the main storyline. A lot of folks were like, okay, it's another Star Wars, so why, what is this about? Oh, it's about them, delivering plans for the Death Star. So is that Rey or Snow? No, it's something totally different, but it's Star Wars. A lot of folks were confused, and so when you start hearing Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars every year, folks are like, okay, it's just another Star Wars movie. It's like if you go to the buffet every single day, eventually you're going to get tired of the food. You might enjoy the meatloaf, you might enjoy the ribs, you might enjoy the fried chicken and the mashed potatoes, you might even enjoy the salad, but if you do it every single meal, every single day, eventually you get tired of it. It's just like your favorite song on the radio. When they play it every hour, every 30 minutes. It comes to a point where you stop enjoying the song as much, and to the point where you actually do not like it. Everybody's experienced this thing, from people eating ramen every single day at college to the point where they're 30 or 40 years old and cannot stand the taste of ramen, to kids having peanut butter and celery as kids and hating it as adults. It's the same thing here with Star Wars. And if Disney doesn't turn it around, they're going to have the same problem with Star Wars. Problem is that Solo was actually good. And they're going to see Solo individually and go, hey, stop making movies like Solo and go back to making movies like Episode 7. And that's going to be the wrong turn. Anyway, the folks at Disney need to sit down and listen to the fans and go, how do we fix this ship? And the next celebration is in Chicago. They need to stop making any single Star Wars movie. Maybe they can continue on with Episode 9, but sit down with the fans at Celebration in Chicago and sit down with, and I know this is not logically possible, but sit down with all the fans and just have a round table and go, okay, what are we doing wrong here? How can we make this right? You have plenty of fans that are Star Wars fans. They're excited for the new Star Wars Land and Disneyland and Disney World, but they're not excited for the movies. You have folks that are outright boycotting the movies, and there's plenty of videos out there if you want to go look. Disney needs to sit down and go, what are we doing wrong? And they need to sit down and go, okay, how do we fix this and how do we do this right? And actually, I plan to follow up with this video with a series of videos on what Disney needs to do to turn it around. It's not going to be a single top 10 list or top 20 list. It's going to be, each video is going to go over a single step of what Disney can do to turn things around. And it could be one video, it could be 50 videos. Just as each one comes to mind, I'm going to sit down and post a video on this. Anyway, Disney, you need to get your act together. You need to sit down in a room, grab your fans, and go, how is Marvel doing this right? And how is Star Wars doing this wrong? Star Wars is not Marvel, okay? You cannot churn out a movie every 3 months and everybody's going to go run to it. Okay? Star Wars is something different. Something is something bigger. It's something better. You cannot churn out a million toys every single day and expect us to run out there and purchase it. I haven't purchased a single Star Wars toy in years. In fact, the only thing I even collect is the Legos, because I'm just a huge Lego fan and I'm a huge Star Wars fan. The only reason I even saw Solo is because I am a huge a huge Star Wars fan. I could not let my personal beliefs or hatred for episodes 7 and 8 to stop me from seeing another Star Wars movie. But it is getting long in the tooth, guys. They need to fix the problem, and they need to do it soon, to the point where the $4 billion that they spent on Solo, they've already recouped their money. Okay? But what they have taken that was so beloved and could last on for hundreds of years could be run into the ground in less than a decade, and that is just pure wrong. And I want to get your thoughts on, what do you think Disney's reaction will be to Solo? Do you think they're going to do anything to change? Do you think they're going to make the right changes? Do you think they're going to make the wrong changes? Let me know. Post it in the comments below. Anyway, I'm out of here for now, and until next time, peace out.